Now, the head office of Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company and the Ikeja business unit of the DISCO were this morning attacked and vandalized by officers from Nigerian Air Force. According to IKEDC officials, the invading Air Force personnel insisted on being reconnected in spite of their reluctance to offset the cost of pending electricity bills, as well as established cases of electricity theft in the past. The Air Force men were said to have embarked on a rampage, breaking down doors as they searched for the chief executive officer of the company, that's Folake Shoeton. The situation degenerated when they eventually identified, assaulted and forced her into the trunk of a car parked in the premises. The problem is said to have started after Ikeja DISCO disconnected power supply to Ikeja Air Force Base after the military unit refused to allow the installation of electric meters in their premises and continued to bypass the legal power connections. Now, for the foundational issues around this invasion and siege on the offices of Ikeja Electric by men of the Nigerian Air Force, in addition to the planned increase in electricity tariffs, we're now being joined by Chief Sunday Oduntan, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors. Good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us here on
Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
What seems like a very unfortunate development. Do you have any updates regarding this incident?
Well, there's no updates other than the fact that we're very, very traumatized. I'm based in Abuja. I had a meeting at Ikeja yesterday, so I came. And I went there early because the management were preparing to go for the commissioning of a solar power plant in Ogun State. So at around 7:35 a.m., we just saw trucks load, more than 100 armed, fully armed Air Force personnel from the Air Force Base at Ikeja, the place they call Sametiam Air Force Base, under the commandment or the commander, the Air Force commanding, Air Vice Marshal A.K. Ademulegun. But it would be nice to give a brief history of how we have come to this level, and this level of impunity by the Nigerian military, which must stop. Now, we came on board on the 1st of November 2013. And as far as this Ikeja, this Air Force Base on that road at Ikeja is concerned, their bill from 2013 November 1 until December 31st, 2022, their total bill was 7.5 million, 7 billion 564 million 153,000 naira. That's 7.5 billion.
This is as of
and they
2023.
Paid from 2013 to 2022, December 31st.
Okay.
So they were owing us 7.5 billion, thanks to the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, particularly Mr. Tunde Fashola, when he was Minister for Power. So they paid 4.3 billion, leaving an outstanding balance of 3.2 billion. That was before 2023, 2013 to 2022. So in 2023, they ran up a bill of 1.4 billion naira. And they paid, in 2023, they paid 1.2 billion naira. They refused to pay their arrears. The billing or the bill was not in contention. That was not the problem. But they were always doing this gra-gra thing, reminding us all the time, and we are the one protecting Nigeria, as if there's no military in the USA or in Europe, as if they are not even paid for what they do, as if somebody is forcing somebody to go and become an Air Force personnel, because that's the blackmail. Now, so in 2023, the bill was 1.4 billion, they pay 1.2, remaining 191 million naira. So we kept on asking them to pay. In 2024, their bill went up slightly to 1.5 billion, and they paid only 623 million naira. Now, this is the catch. We can say with all sense of responsibility, this new government, when they came on board in 2023, this current president made it very clear to us and to our investors that they will pay MDA debt, military department agencies. And I know they were giving them money. That was why they were able to pay 1.2 out of 1.4 billion in 2023. Surprisingly, in 2024, out of a debt of 1.5, they only paid 623 million naira. What happened to the rest of the money? Between the Federal Minister of Defense and IKEDC Air Force Base and all these officers. Now, so the outstanding balance for 2024 was 893 million naira. So the summary is this. As of today, total debt is 4,340,566,000 naira. Now, this debt is the reason why we started asking them to pay. And the man we were dealing with, the Oga Patapata, who is higher than the President and Commander-in-Chief, and I will say what I mean by that. This gentleman is called Air Vice Marshal A.K. Ademulegun. So we had a series of meetings with him. But in June 2024, the people that we sent there to go and ask for payment were beaten up at IKEDC Air Force Base. That was the first problem we had with them. So on the 29th of July 2024, because of this non-payment, we now decided to write them a letter. So the MDC of IKEDC wrote them a letter telling them that we are sorry, we have to install a device called auto recloser. That auto recloser, the job of that is to enable us, as service provider, to manage supply of energy into any particular place. In other words, we can determine through that machine how many hours we can give that community or that place, depending on their pattern of payment, their ability to pay, or their willingness to pay. In the case of Nigerian Air Force, they are able to pay, but they just don't want to pay. The government will give them money, go and check their appropriation, the money will disappear along the line.
Okay.
So we send them the first letter. I just want you to know what we have done to try and recover amicably. First letter, because we have written 5 letters so far. So we wrote the first one to tell them about that auto recloser. Now with that, we can agree between us how many hours you want. We had a meeting with the AVM Ademulegun on the 3rd of October 2024. And he didn't like the idea of this auto recloser because they want to be using 24-hour electricity without paying. We now say, okay, give us access to install prepaid meter. So you pay as you go. There won't be any wahala. You put money, you get your light, you pay. 24 hours. Bandeo. Okay. And then this was on the 3rd of October. And we agreed as gentlemen between us and them. We said, while we are waiting for you to respond, we will ensure that you have 11 hours of supply using this equipment from October 3rd to October 7th. When they did not get back to us to tell us about payment plan or how they want to pay, so on the 9th of October, we wrote another letter to them, formally requesting for access to install prepaid meter. They ignored our letter. So on the 25th of November, 2024, we wrote another letter to say that on Monday, the 2nd of December, our contractor and technical staff are coming to your premises to install prepaid meter. And on that day, our people went there, the Nigerian Air Force authorities sent them back, blocked access, and they did not allow us to install the meter. Then we noticed that they have vandalized and tampered with the equipment, auto recloser. They did that twice. They actually disconnected the communication cable, which is a criminal offense. For that reason, we now wrote another letter to them on the 17th of January, 2025, detailing all that they have done, calling their attention to the law, to let them know that what they have done is against the law. And all these correspondence that we sent to them, including the last one on the 5th of March, we copied the chief of air staff, so he's aware. Wherever he is aware. We copied the AOC logistics. Okay. So after doing all of this, yesterday, in my own business, I had a meeting with them, came from Abuja day before yesterday. So I went there yesterday morning because they were going to commission a solar power project. On getting there, at 7:35 a.m., We just saw so many trucks, just like you said earlier, and they kept beating everybody, including pregnant women. They asked everyone to lie down on the floor. They brutalized everybody, including Chief Technical Officer of IKEDC, who is still in the hospital as I speak. And that's the man who is supposed to turn the light on. So I wonder how the presidency or anybody or the government will react to this kind of barbaric act by the military.
Okay, Mr. Sunday, thank you so much for laying out that very detailed foundation. The history and the historical context is very important in this. But I'm sure you'll appreciate it's very important for us to balance and be fair in this conversation. Because there's some very weighty allegations against the Air Force, which is a massive institution in this country. My question is, in your explanation, you mentioned a number of incidents of assaults, a number of criminal incidents, and besides the written correspondence between yourselves and the Air Force, have you laid any formal charges, criminal charges, around your people who have been assaulted and brutalized and all the things that have happened? Are there records with the police that these incidents happened?
Well, before yesterday, we haven't. And you wonder, why haven't we? It is not just IKEDC. In Abeokuta, there's a garrison command called Alamala. And have a record of 2014, 2017, 2018, when they beat off our staff simply for going to ask for money.
But if they're being beaten, why are they not reporting
they've been doing this. Look,
so why not report it?
Look, in fact, the impunity got to the point that this Air Vice Marshal A.K. Ademilegun kept on telling us how important they are in protecting the territorial integrity of Nigeria. Excuse me, we are distributors of electricity. This electricity we are talking about, this non-payment, this 4 billion you hear, IKEDC Electric, our own money there is just about 20%. We have to pay the market, pay the producers, transporter, and other stakeholders, and CBN loan. So this thing is such that the people at the top are the one we expect to show leadership. In fact, this incident is what will show us the true meaning of Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Because I thought before yesterday that these military men are officers and gentlemen, people with honor, and I expect that they should fish out those who did this.
How do they fish them out if you didn't report it?
No, I'm talking about what happened yesterday.
Okay.
What happened yesterday, it was so bad that when they came into the building, the first thing they did was to be removing all our CCTV cameras. And they went away with the database of the camera. They went to the ICT, took away all our billing equipment. They went to HR. I mean, a lot of destruction took place. We have video of that. We have evidence of all of this. But what I'm saying, there have to be restitution. Somebody has to come forward, own up to all of this. Who sent them? Okay. Who signed out those guns? Who is the person that asked them to go to a civilian building and start beating people up for no reason? Right. So these are the things, these are the issues.
Okay. So you, like Vimbai mentioned, you gave us a very robust timeline of these incidents that have occurred over the years. And now you just made mention that this is something that hasn't just happened in IKEDC, it's also happened in Abeokuta. So it sounds to an extent
in Kaduna too.
It's
so many places.
Okay, it sounds a bit like it was accepted behavior that was somewhat normalized and allowed to go because you didn't make a report of this. But moving forward, what are the plans that you have to ensure that there's no recurrence, whether it's a case of an uproar from the military or an uproar from the civilians, especially now that you plan to increase tariffs and you can't necessarily tell how that will sit with those that fall under those bands B and C?
Okay, of course, this issue will not allow it to go unreported. What we plan to do is to lodge unnecessary complaint formally to the Nigerian police, to the Nigerian government, and we expect to see what government will do about this, because all those equipment worth hundreds of millions of naira, somebody has to, there must be full restoration. All our staff, there are at least 10 people that were admitted yesterday into hospital, this Lagos. So somebody has to come out and do something about this. And we are not, we feel that as creditors, in fact, it is shameful for a debtor to be the one beating a creditor. But because they think we are powerless, there's nothing we can do, and there's this level of impunity that nothing would happen to them. That's why on this one, we are not going to agree. We're not going to agree until we see justice. And that is why we are ready to go all the way. And our major concern, knowing the Nigerian system as it is that, and I would like to really appeal, I'm pleading with the federal government, beginning with the presidency, please, whether it is the presidency or the ministry or minister of power or a regulator, nobody should give undue pressure, put pressure on our investors of Ikeja Electric or management of Ikeja Electric to restore power to Nigeria Air Force Base at Ikeja. Any attempt to do this will take this thing all out. If we cannot even get justice in Nigeria, we'll take it outside the country, because it's not fair for us to have a system whereby some people are above the law. This AVM think is higher than the president anyway, because if they think about the layer, the hierarchy in the military, the chief of air staff, to whom we send copies of all this letter, didn't even respond to anything from us. They think they can use electricity free of charge. No problem. The government should be paying for the electricity. That's the issue.
Mr. Oduntan, I'm glad you're mentioning this point, because as of last year, there was a wide report about the fact that Aso Villa, DHQ, CBN were owing over 47 billion worth of electricity bills.
Yes.
Who has paid? Who is still owing?
The Villa paid. Mm-hmm. That's why we did not disconnect them. We wanted to disconnect the Aso Villa. And they paid. Same week, they paid. Mm-hmm. Look,
what of DHQ?
We made some progress.
Has DHQ paid?
In fairness to the government gave directive to all the agencies, ministry, department agencies, to pay their debts. We have had series of meetings, and there are still some ongoing meetings. Some are paid in part, but they are still owing debt across the board. But remember, these are debts from November 2013. And before we start to talk about this government, they came here, they came on board in 2023. Sure. And they have consistently been paying their own bill at the Aso Villa. The bill we are talking about were not necessarily owed by them. They were arrears of unpaid bills. So for us, we are not going to be unnecessarily political about the issue. The issue is that when you use electricity, pay your bill. We don't care who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. Once you pay, no issue. But the moment some people don't pay, especially these military people, I know we have the new Electricity Act of 2023 as amended. It empowers both the state and local government to generate, transmit, and distribute their own power. The Nigerian military, particularly this Ikeja Air Force Base, they can generate their own power or use their own generator. It should not be a fight. If you cannot pay your bills, okay, go and use. This afternoon, let me give you an update, an embarrassing one. On my way here, from them, they sent a text message to one of our chief engineers. The person who sent it, we don't know his name, he said, I have an instruction, this usual military term, I have an instruction to ask when you are going to return light to Ikeja Air Force Base. That will not happen, not soon. They have to pay this debt. And that will not happen.
In just 30 seconds, because we were supposed to touch on this new tariff increase, the increase that's supposed to happen in a few, sooner rather than later. How can it be justified when we consider the current economic hardship that Nigerians are facing, saying they should prepare for new tariffs?
I don't know where you live. And I don't know whether you've been in Nigeria for long or whether you came from abroad. Okay. I came from abroad in 2013 and I lived in England for 32 years.
All right.
When you talk about tariff increase, when you ask someone like me, a distributor, about what do you think, it is not even my business. That is why we have regulators. And we should even look at the work of the regulator, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. They are the one that fix tariff. It is time for the media houses to also get themselves educated on how do we come to the issue of tariff.
Okay,
it is not us.
It's no longer an issue, but you did agree. You did agree to talk about both issues, but since you're stepping back on that, we're out of time.
Well, if you're out of time,
yes.
The question you asked, when you say how justified are we, the issue of tariff has to do with the issue of cost of production.
All right, great. So
it's as simple as that.
Thank you.
Economics.
Thank you. Great. Thank you for your time here. We
appreciate
your insight. Thank you.